Hello and welcome to Triangle Home Talk, Jackson Realty Group. I'm Corey Gilliam.
Shanta Jackson.
We're coming from you live from our Raleigh office off Six Forks. Shanta, how has your week been so far?
Man, I tell you, it has been crazy. And I mean crazy in a good way. So we've got some sales going, and I think spring has sprung a little early.
Yeah.
One good thing, homes are coming on the market a little bit more.
A lot
So
more
yay,
people.
buyers.
Gotta love the confidence. Of sellers
Correct,
coming
correct. Now, I will tell you, so in my everyday real estate travels, I come across different things. And so, one thing I wanted to talk about was that even with home sellers putting their houses on the market, I realize it's a lot of first time home sellers.
up. That is a big swath of
Yeah.
people who sell their homes. On a
You know
normal
what? And
basis.
it's so amazing to me because you know what? The industry, I mean, me included, I mean, we really focus on first time home buyers, getting them through the game plan. There's home buying seminars,
Yep.
you know, and so I wonder if we're not serving our sellers because guess what? If you're a first time home buyer, you're also a first time.
Home seller eventually,
Correct.
right?
Exactly right. And it is a little bit more complicated and a little bit more difficult. I had one family that was in this same situation, first time selling. And guess what? As you know, because the inventory is low and, you know, if you price it right, it will leave.
It will sell.
It will sell.
Yes.
And so this house did sell,
Yeah.
which of course is a good thing because guess what? They're going to gain lots of money. But now on the other side of it is where do we go live, right?
Yeah.
Because they had thought that they could purchase a house, but they didn't check in advance. So now, Corey, you know, this particular family, they're under contract.
Yeah.
They got to move. So, you know, what do you do when you've sold your house? You can't buy a house.
Well, I think
What do you do?
You're asking a really good question because at the end of the day, like you said, we do focus on first-time home buyers a
Yeah,
lot.
it's just natural.
But everyone eventually you aspire to growth in your life, so you're going to be a first-time home seller, and just like there are fundamentals of buying, there've got to be fundamentals of selling as well.
Exactly right.
So
Exactly
I
right.
think that maybe they just kind of missed out on some fundamental steps in the process of selling your home.
Exactly right. Well, first of all, whenever we talk about selling a house, what's the only thing you hear?
How much am I going to get?
How much you gonna get? Or they said, hey, make sure you clean up the clutter, you price it right. No one talks about
Where you
the
going to go?
correct or the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Really, what are the fundamentals? So really, to me, Corey, in my heart of hearts, before you decide to sell, you need to ask yourself one important question, and that one question is, can I buy another house? I mean, really, that is the next thing. Because even though you have money that you're going to get from the sale of your house, are you going to be able to purchase another house? And so, just like you were a home buyer and you need to go talk to a lender, guess what?
Gotta go talk to them.
You got to talk to a lender first. Like, don't call the realtor first. Call the lender
No,
first.
if you do, we'll point you in the right direction. It's okay. You can still call us.
Correct, correct, very good. But you really need to get with a lending professional so they can pull your check, your credit, see where you are, and look at your basis for your credit, so you can find out how much home can you afford. Because guess what? Why are the reasons that people move?
Well, biggest one is probably family growth, right?
Correct. So here's the thing. If you're moving because your house is too small and you need a bigger house,
Well,
it's
that
going
bigger
to
house
take
is gonna-
more money.
It's gonna cost more.
It's going to cost more. So that is one of the things that we have to really, really stress is that you got to get with the lender and check your credit. And then guess what? You got to know your what?
Got to know your numbers. It's very important. See, the lender's going to tell you how much you can afford, or they're going to lay out what your situation looks like. Maybe that situation comes down to, do you have to sell the house?
Correct.
Or, how much are you getting from that house, being able to put down as a down payment or put in your savings account? Or there's situational things that knowing your numbers and figuring out your budget will help you answer, so you figure out what your next step is.
Exactly right. So here's my thing. If the lender comes back, Corey, because remember, a lot of times first-time home buyers, they've done 100% financing, right?
Yeah.
Or they've done an FHA loan, which is just 3.5% down payment.
Yeah.
Well, now you're getting into a different bracket. You may even be going to a jumbo size loan. So you're going to need to put more money down. That lender's going to tell you how much money do you need to put down.
Yep.
Where can you get some of that money? From the sale of your house.
Yes.
Right? But how much does my home, what's my home's worth, right?
Yeah.
How much value can I pull out of that house? Well, part of the thing is a lot of people make a huge mistake because this happened to me several times, and I'm sure realtors, it has happened to you. I will get screenshots of Zillow.
Yes.
And I'll get screenshots of Trulia. Say, oh, Shanta, look at my value. And they're basing their plans
off of
Zillow's.
some Z estimates, as we call them. And
Correct.
yeah, they're never going to be completely precise. Zillow has never been in your house. They've never seen what kind of amenities and upgrades you have going on. Those numbers aren't going to be accurate to what you can get.
Exactly. We need, and now this is when you call the realtor.
Yeah, call
right?
your realtor.
Because you need to find out the real value of your house so that you can get those numbers. Because look, here's the thing. And I've had this happen to me before, sellers tell me, hey, Shanta, I know I can get $80,000 from my house, and I'm going to take that $80,000 and I'm going to put on my next house. And I'm like, $80,000?
Yeah.
I have you only getting $50,000. And then they ask me, why, Corey? Well, there's certain things they forgot. And this is why it's important to talk with your realtor, because guess what? Not only do you have to take into account the real market value and now those estimates, you have to pay an attorney to prepare that deed.
Yep.
Right? You have your own closing costs again.
Exactly.
Right? And so you have to pay the realtor and
you have to pay the realtor. You got to pay your taxes.
got to pay your taxes. Got to pay the prorated rate of the HOA. So a lot of people say, oh, you know what? That's right. I forgot about taxes, or I forgot about the HOA payments. So those are things that you need. And guess what else we forget about? Possible repairs.
Yes.
Right?
During contracts, there are repairs that can happen.
Exactly right. So if you're talking about getting your house ready for market and knowing your numbers, you need to try and budget what may be some of your repair costs or cost to getting the house ready for market. So you need to talk to the professional, but knowing your numbers is key. Right? You don't want to go and buy a house and think that you're going to get, what, like using my example, $80,000, and then you get to the closing table and you only have 40.
Now, it is important. We highlight, I think one of the first questions we always ask a potential client looking to sell their house is, I mean, for us, because it gives us really good information, how much are you looking to walk away with? That's an important thing to figure out in your head, but at the end of the day, you cannot get quagmired by it and let it keep you from making a big and good choice for your situation.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up, because having talked with a lot of sellers, a lot of times they say, hey, well, Shanta, I want to get $80,000 out of here. And that's great.
That's fine.
That is awesome.
Let me tell you what's real.
But what will the market yield?
Exactly.
Because that is the only number that will work. How do we know the value of a house? By seeing what other buyers have paid for similar houses.
Exactly.
So realtors don't know the value. We don't set the value.
And it changes every day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, period.
It does. Yep. So know your numbers. They got to know before you start cleaning out your closet and you start painting. Know your numbers. And then if you know your numbers, Corey,
you can figure out and put a game plan in place.
Correct.
And figure out your next steps.
Yes, yes. Because guess what, Corey? What if you talk with that lender, you figured out your numbers, and you don't even have to sell the house?
whoa, does that mean you all of a sudden have walked into an investment
Correct.
property kind of situation?
Correct. So that's another good reason
Yeah.
to figure out your numbers and talking to the lender, because you need to know which projection you're going. Are you going to keep the house? Which means you're going to rent it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, means you're going to rent it, which means, well, I guess let's talk about what renting means for just a second. When you keep it and you're having that person pay that mortgage and the rent through paying you rent, you're increasing the equity and you're just building more money for you in the future.
Correct.
So if you have the option to keep it, I mean, yeah, build a real estate portfolio.
Ooh, that would be the best thing ever.
it.
And then, but here's the thing, not everyone can do that.
It's
Everyone's
true.
finances
Situation.
aren't the same. Sometimes you have to sell that house, right? Now, the thing is, if you need to sell it, then you need to get with your realtor, right? Because you need to figure out, do I need to then find a house first and then sell my house second?
Yes.
Or are we doing it simultaneously?
Which we call door to door, and they are.
And all of that depends on the market value.
Yes.
Because every neighborhood is different, and your realtor professional will know exactly what you need to do, what strategy, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter which direction you go when you sell your house, as long as you're being wise about your decisions. I mean, at the end of the day, being smart, being wise is going to save you a lot of heartache.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you like what you heard, but you want to find out more and you're just not sure what to ask us.
Feel free to reach out to us on our Facebook page or our Instagram.
And we will pick a question and we'll answer it during our podcast.
Hopefully every week. We'd love to have feedback from you guys, the audience, and maybe you can also dictate some of our topics that we talk about each week.
Correct. Look forward to hearing from you.